All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. I've been going over some HTML and HTML5 fundamentals, and what you see on the screen right now in gray are what I covered in the first two lectures or videos that I did. In this video, I plan on going over as much as possible what you see right here. Well, take it a little further. So I plan on going over what you see here. Forms, HTML5 form features, links, HTML entities, and iframes. That'll give me one more lecture where I'll go over audio, video, and a little bit on Canvas, and then try to see if there's any major tags that I missed. Okay, so let's start with forms. And first thing that we're going to do here is make sure that what we worked on last time, we want all that commented out. All right, now I'm not going to be using virtually no CSS on here. All right, in fact, what I'll do is this. I think I'll put in here label display block. All right, and we'll see if that does what I want it to do. Okay, we don't need these here anymore, so we can there. Okay, so am I back down here? Do I have everything commented out? I should have another, my form or the page should be blank again. And it is. Good. All right, so let's start filling it up. I'm not doing this in really any kind of order, but let's see. Let's make a form with a first name, last name. Let's put a bunch of stuff in it. Okay. So let's just start with our form tag. We're going to add to that later, but all right, so the first thing that we'll do is we're going to put in here a label. And we'll say for equals SSN. And we'll say social security number. I'm going to probably end up putting a lot of this in before I really go over and explain it. Let's take a look at what we have right there. See if that's going to look the way I want it to look. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to put first name, last name. We'll put in like city, state, zip. First name, last name, city, state, zip. We'll put in a few other things too. Okay. First name, this will be last name, and let's see. So first name, last name. This won't be a complete form, so let's put in here zip. And this is so I'm able to manipulate stuff around here later. So zip code, zip, zip. And let's see what it looks like right now. Okay, not bad. I mean, not great or anything. Again, there's no CSS in here other than I said I wanted the labels to be on their own line. Then I don't have to worry about lining things up. Okay. Let's add, after the social security number, we'll add a password field. And then down here, I'm going to add a state field. And we'll add a salary field and a gender field and something else. So we'll add a few more just because I want to get a bunch of different things in here. So again, I'm going to copy all of this. And we're going to change this around as we go. So this will be a work in progress. All right. So I didn't put the address or the city, but I'm going to put a state in here. And we're going to put a different type of control in here. And, oops, that will be a select. And, and I think I can grab this so I don't have to type in all 50 states. States, select list, something like that. Select list HTML snippet. That's what I want. Now there might be some stuff in here that I don't want. I can always pull that out later. I'm not concerned with that in the least. All right. I'm a little anal about this stuff, so. All right, now we'll be able to very quickly look at this and see whether or not that worked. And you can see they're all in there. That's good. I think I want, oh, that's pretty close space-wise, but again, I could put some CSS in. It's fine the way it is. So I've got a social security number, password, last name, first name, state, zip code. Let's put a gender in there. Let's grab this again. Type is radio. The name will be radio. Now the name will be gender. And the ID will be, I don't remember if I make that the same here or if I change it, but I'm going to change that to male. We'll make females first. 3 blanks in there. And I think that after this, I'm supposed to say, let's see, female and male. Those I don't need. Let's see if I did that right. Okay, so there's the gender. Okay, why is the zip code underneath that? Because that's what I did. All right, and let's see. I'm going to grab all this. In fact, I'll grab every bit of this here, and I'm going to copy it in again. And this is kind of silly, but favorite color. And we're going to make this a checkbox. And we'll make this blue. And let's grab all of this. And we'll make that red. And we'll put one more in here. And we'll make that one green. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so you can see it's coming to be. It's okay. And we'll make some more changes to it in just a minute. I'm going to put one more field in here. I'm going to grab this one because it's pretty close to what I want. I'm going to call this salary. All right, and let's put a couple of BR tags there. And we'll put one more. Input type equals submit. ID equal submit. Name equals submit. Value equal submit form. All right, so here's our finished form, and it's got everything in there basically that I want. Let's see. I'm going to try something. This may be a cluster to do this, but I'm going to try it anyway. I don't like the way that those labels look. So I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to say label display block inline. And I'm going to have width 125 pixels and text align right. And font weight bold. Oh, and hopefully I made it better and not worse. I made it worse. Okay, that's fine. But now I'll need to put in line breaks, and we'll see if that fixes it or not, or if I goofed it up. So right before each label, I'm going to put in a BR tag. All right, let's see if I made it better or worse. Okay, well, it's getting there. Again, it's a work in progress, but I wanted these. I guess I did that wrong. Okay, but the width is wrong, so I can tell by looking at that. And I do this, but not nearly as often as I probably should have, so. Same width and right justified text. So I'm asking how to use CSS to make all labels the same width with right justified text. Position labels on forms using CSS. Align labels forms next to input. This is what I want, but I want it to be right justified, so. I'm going to try grabbing what they have in here. See what that does. But just in case it really screws this up, what I'll do is now all my stuff is commented out. All right, label. Float left, width 10 ems, margin right 1 text align right. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to make these better or not by what I'm doing right here. Well, that looks better. All right, the submit form could move over. Let's do a two more things and then we should be done here. Let's do a margin bottom of 1 Okay. And then for our, let's call that input button my submit. And we're going to use margin left, let's make it 150 pixels. Okay, so that button will now have to have an ID of my submit. And the name will be my submit too, that's fine. All right, let's save. And let's run this. Whoa. Okay, well, that sure didn't work out right, did it? And all I can think of is it's when I put that margin bottom of 1 was too much. We'll just have a margin bottom of 10 pixels. Hopefully that'll be okay. Well, that didn't do it. Definitely doesn't look like it likes that margin bottom. So we'll remove that. The stuff's going to look pretty much stuck together, but that's okay. All right. And it looks, I thought that I had, well, maybe if I just do this. When I come back and on every one of these where I had a line break, let's put 2 of them in. See if that cleans it up a little bit. That should be good enough. All right, there. Now it's positioned out enough. Okay. Now, is this by any means a fantastic form? No, but it works. It all looks okay the way that it is. All right, I've spaced it out. I've now got all my states in there, etc. And I'm going to make some changes to this. So let's take it from the top here. First thing I want to do is when you've got a form, usually what you do is you have in here a method, which is either post or it's get. Now, usually when it's post, that means you're trying to actually post information, so send it out someplace like to a website. And action will be equal to, I don't have this form, but I'm going to call it process form.php. So when I run that, I'm going to get an error message, but that's okay. All right, so I've got all that. Now let's think about what else we want to do. Well, the social security number, it would be kind of nice to let the user know the format. So I'm going to put it here, placeholder equals number dash number dash number. All right, let's see what's happened, how it's changed so far. So now notice we've got that, but as soon as we come in here and we start typing, that goes away. Okay, so that's good. All right. The password field right now shows. Well, we don't want that. So let's change the type of field for the password from text to password. And let's see what that does. That's good. That's what we wanted. First name and last name are okay. State's okay. Okay. I don't think you'd have to give the user really anything at all that's in there. Okay. I'm out of Missouri, so let's suppose that Missouri is the state that we want to come up rather than Alabama. Okay. So I'm going to say here, value equal Missouri. And this is, I think it's the word selected, but we're going to find out. Let's run it and see if that changes it to Missouri. And it does. Good. Zip code. Again, let's put a placeholder in for the zip code. And we'll say this. Placeholder equals number, or number, dash number. Now, that might be too big. Nope, it works. Okay. What else? Well, we can say all fields are required. So let's put an H1 tag at the beginning of this. And we're going to say registration form. And then we'll put an H3 tag under that that says all fields are required. Okay, so let's look. All right, now it's one thing to say all fields are required, but it's another thing to actually make them required. So in order to do that, we're going to put the word required at the end of all of these. Now it's a new word, so you see that it's not red like the other ones are, but that's okay. Doesn't really make any sense because this is already, I don't need the required there because it's already, something's already chosen. So we could put it there, but there really is no reason to do that. I'm going to leave that off too, but we're going to say here for the radio button, we're going to say I think it's selected again here, but we'll find out. So we'll assume that most of the people here are female. Favorite color, let's assume that most people, I don't know, like blue. So we'll have that one checked. Salary will be required. Okay, so now let's take a look and see what we've got. All right, so you notice favorite color is checked. The gender, that did not work. So let's go back and look at that radio button. It didn't look like it didn't like selected. Let's try checked in there. And there you go. All right. All right. Now, we've got a lot done on here already, but let's do some more. All right. And what do I mean? Well, let me close a bunch. I've got a lot of this stuff open here. We'll leave that there. And we're going to put in there's a site that's called HTML5 pattern.com, I believe. There you go. So let's assume that passwords, uppercase, lowercase, and numbers, with a minimum of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters, and a minimum of 8 characters. That's fine. I want. Let's see, try it out. No, I want to be able to grab all of it. That's the thing. There we go. Copy. So now for the password, I'm literally, this is an HTML5 thing. I'm going to come in there and say pattern equal. And for the pattern, there it is. All right. So first name and last name should be okay. State should be okay. Zip code, I can put a pattern in for that. That'll probably make a little bit more sense. American. There's my pattern for my zip code. And that'll be an easier one to explain to you as well. Okay, and we'll go back and look at that in just a minute. The gender's okay. Favorite color is okay. For salary, one thing we should have done is for we didn't put in an email address, did we? Oh. Password. Okay, I'm going to grab this. Copy it. Come in here. And I'm going to call this email. This will say email address. The type will make it email, so that'll check to make sure that it's a valid email type. Email. Email. We won't have any kind of placeholder, but we will make it required. All right. Now, one thing they'll probably say in here under emails is don't use a pattern because it's too hard. All right. Hex colors, miscellaneous. Dates. I think that's pretty good the way that it is. Okay, so let me save this. See if I just added my email, if that looks okay in there. All right, so password, email address. I need another blank line, but as soon as I do, pretty much have this finished. So that needs another BR tag there. All right, so what you see in front of you is an HTML form. Now all fields are required, so notice that when I click in here, please fill out this field. I think there should be a pattern also, unless I'm mistaken. Let's do this. Regular, expression, pattern, social security number. And there's different ways that you can do this, just so you know. I'm going to use the one they have here. I think that'll work. Plus, it'll give me a chance to explain some of this. So, social security number, pattern equal all right. So taking it from the top, what we're saying here is we've got a registration form. We made all fields required by putting the required parameter in there, the required attribute. First, we have our social security number. Now we say label for equal. Just so you know, the reason that I put that in with the for equal like that is if I come in here and I click on the label, notice it brings me right into, so it's associating the label with whatever is there with it. Okay? All right, so that's good. That's the first thing that we wanted to do. All right. And I'm saying type is text, which means I'm putting regular text in there. The ID is SSN. Later on, when we work with JavaScript, we can use getElementById, and that's when we'll use that. The name, so this is used for client side. This is used for server side. So I'd use that in PHP or ASP.NET or whatever. This just says when there's nothing there, put a placeholder in it, make it required, and this is the pattern. All right, what this says is 3 digits. Well, this says basically the pattern is starts with 3 digits followed by a hyphen, followed by 2 digits, followed by a hyphen, followed by 4 digits. And I don't think we need the question mark there. So 3 digits, hyphen, 2 digits, hyphen, 4 digits. So let's see. You've already seen this, but if I come in here and I put nothing in, I get that error. But if I come in here and I just put in 7, please match the requested format. That's good. That's what we want. All right, so that's good. 777-77. Try that again. 111-22-3333. So that should be okay. Now we get please fill out this field. All right, so our second field was our password. And long story short, this says minimum of 8 characters, letters, numbers, special characters, and like I said, 8 or more characters right there. That's what that's saying. So let's come back to here again, and let's put in 7 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters. Please match the requested format. But if I put in an 8th character, still is saying please match the requested format. Let's see. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I put hello, hello in there. It took that. Okay. Email address. If I put nothing in there, please match the requested format. Well, that was for this. Let's not put anything in there for the password. Let's just say you can put anything in there. All right, but what we'll say, we won't put any pattern in it whatsoever. Let's try this, though. Let's try HTML form field minimum length. Is there a min length attribute in HTML5? Not without JavaScript. So I don't want to put that in. I don't want any JavaScript now. We can look at that later, so we won't put anything in there. The email address with what we just did, so this should now be okay. And now, please match the requested format. I think if we refresh, 111-22-3333. Hello. Now, why is it still telling me to match the requested format? There shouldn't be any format in there. We didn't save. One 22-3333. I'll just put hello in there. Okay. Now, please fill out this field. Now, if I put in I'm going to put in my rank and email address, but I'm going to put a mistake in there on purpose. I'm going to leave the @ sign out. Oops. There. And now submit it. Please include the @ sign. Okay, and it's even telling you what it's missing is the @ sign. Oops, @ sign, edu. All right, and you notice mine is set to autocomplete, so it puts a bunch of stuff in there. All right, male, blue is fine, salary, $100,000. Submit the form. Your file was not found because there is no process PHP file, as I mentioned to you. I want to do one more thing, and then we're going to put this one kind of to rest, so to speak. And that is HTML form field numeric only. I think I can say number, and I think I can say minimum and maximum, I believe. Minimum and maximum. Okay, so that's pretty much what I want to do here. So I want to make a type number for the salary. So the type will equal number. Required. Let's put a minimum value in there that says you must make at least 10,000. Don't know if that should be in double quotes or not, probably. And we'll say that the maximum is going to be equal to 1,000,000. All right. Do they show that? Yep, they show it like that too. All right. So come back to here. Let's run this again. Whoops, sorry. Now when I've run this, I've already shown you this, so I'm not gonna. Hello. JP. But I'm going to try to leave that blank now. Please fill out this field, $1. Must be greater than or equal to 10,000. So, now I put in 7, that's 10 million. Must be less than or equal to 1,000,000. All right, so I'll put in $333,333.33. Please enter a valued value. Oh, it wants a whole number. Again, we can change that. It's not a big thing. Okay, boom, it all worked. So, what I've done is I've created a very simple form. Took me a little more time than I thought. It looks pleasing enough to the eye. I could move this over a few pixels, and I could move this over if I wanted to. All right. And there's other things I could do. I kept it fairly simplistic, but I was able to explain, I believe, to you the major things. One more thing I wanted to do. Let's take the first name and the last name, these two fields, and we'll put a, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll let the system find it for me because I can't remember. It works with a legend, but I want to HTML form legend. Okay, field set is what I was looking for. Okay, we'll put a field set and a legend. So we'll just put that by the first name. This is going to look kind of ugly, but it'll be fine anyway. All right, so let me bring this down here, and I'm going to say here field set legend name info legend, and we'll put our ending field set tag after the last name. All right, now what did I do? You're going to know as soon as you see it exactly what I did. Now look around the first name and the last name when I refresh. Okay, now that's pretty ugly, but you get the idea. All right, if I want to make it look a little nicer than it does, all right, a little bit nicer than it does, let's go over to here. Again, this video is getting way too long. And I'm going to put here field set. Oops. And we'll put here width 33%. That should probably be wide enough. And after the field set, I don't believe, after the name and all that other good stuff, which was there, I don't think I'm going to need these line breaks anymore. Oops. So let's see what it looks like now. Still doesn't look great. Now I can't add one of those line breaks back, but it looks a little bit better. Right, again, it's still wider than I need it to be. So take my width and move it from 33% down to about 25%. And after my field set, I can put in one BR tag. Okay. Now I'd have to do a little bit of massaging with that as far as moving it over. Okay. I guess that 25 doesn't work. So probably I should, maybe 30 would work. Again, I'd have to play around with this to get it to look where I want it, the way I want it to look, etc. There we go. Now again, is that perfect? By no means is that perfect. But I just was able to show you now the major things that I wanted to get across. Okay? So I was going to, in this lecture, I was also going to go over links and HTML entities, but this got too long. So I'm going to make another lecture that goes over links, HTML entities, and iframes, and I'll do that shortly.